With Roman Reigns possibly setting up to turn babyface, Finn Balor now awaiting a main roster call-up and more. This is Wrestling Up. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for May 27th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Up and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. This week, Finn Balor was unable to defeat Karrion Kross to regain the NXT title, with him no longer in the main event picture. While a triple threat match has been set up to determine a new #1 contender for the next pay-per-view on NXT, WrestleVotes had previously reported regarding Finn Balor. I'm told members of the Raw creative team have asked for him for months now. No edict has come down from the top yet, yanking him from Orlando. The NXT crew adores Balor, so unless the main roster has major plans for him, I'd think he's okay where he is. On the Wrestling Observer, the prospect of Balor leaving NXT was discussed, with it said the whole reason that he was there is gone because he was there to fight AEW. That fight is over, so he should be on the main roster. He's a big money contract guy and he should be on one of those shows. With AEW getting an extension from Warner Media and no longer being in direct competition with NXT, there is no longer a need for Balor in the black and gold brand. The man himself had even stated he was looking forward to making his return to the main roster, saying this to Out of Character. Absolutely, the idea of returning to the main roster interests me. I grew up as a wrestling fan watching WWE and I feel like that is where I want to be performing. I feel like in my last run there I wasn't doing myself justice. I needed to change something and I went to NXT and I found out who I was again, and I managed to do that to some level, and I'm hopeful at some level that Raw or SmackDown will happen in the future. Speaking to comicbook.com, one of the EVPs of AEW, Cody Rhodes, was asked about actor Stephen Amell appearing in the company for a match. As Cody replied, "So Stephen gets me excited. Oh, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. And then I'll write a little treatment out. And then it's, well, I'm doing this movie. I don't know. I think Stephen will absolutely appear on AEW TV moving forward. I know it's difficult because he broke his hip wrestling for Christopher Daniels at All In, which very few people know. So I don't know how excited he is about returning. I know he wants to do it, but he's got a family. It's not ballet, but I could see Stephen getting in the ring for sure for one more time. I could see that. Amell is no stranger to these squared circles. He teamed with Neville to face King Barrett and Cody when he was Stardust at SummerSlam in 2015. With her wanting to make a return to wrestling for WWE, Nikki Bella has been working out, and in a new video she revealed, getting stronger every day, still around 10 pounds away from my pre-baby weight. It goes up and down every week. Artem needs to stop baking. He'll probably blame the wine. But did you see what else is getting bigger? Or shall I say stronger? My booty baby. So happy. Thank you, coach. Despite the Bella twins being Hall of Famers, they have one last goal, and that is to become women's tag team champions. Former Raw play-by-play commentator Adnan Virk did not end up lasting very long in his newfound position in WWE, calling about 7 shows in total. Now it was said by WWE that the release of Virk was a mutual agreement to part ways, yet according to Fightful Select, WWE was going to make the move regardless and had their mind made up even before the May 24th Raw. It was even said the two parties were hoping to keep it amicable, but both were apparently very aware the situation was not working out, as Jimmy Smith has been announced to be taking the Raw play-by-play commentary role. AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view is coming up on Sunday, with the Casino Battle Royal set to have a surprise entrant. As Dave Meltzer noted, the surprise, I don't want to say this because it may be someone not as good as this, or it may be later, or it may fall through. But we know they've been talking, is Andrade. If it's him and he wins, actually him and Kenny Omega is a great match on paper, but that's a Triple Mania main event, and that's in August. It seems that Andrade debuting in this match and winning would not make the most sense, given he already has a match with Omega set up down the line. Of course, Andrade might debut in the match and simply not win, so we'll have to see how this plays out. While The Undertaker has claimed retirement from wrestling after his Boneyard match against AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36, there could be more to come from the dead man, as he posted a picture of himself working out, writing, "When one door closes, another one opens. The game may be over for me, but the grind never ends." Taker is under a Legends deal with WWE, so he could simply be staying in shape, or he could be preparing to become a coach at the Performance Center. Roman Reigns has been on the run of a lifetime as the Tribal Chief and Universal Champion. While many fans have been dying to see this version of Roman, his FCW trainer and wrestling legend Dr. Tom Pritchard thinks he will return to being a face, saying this to Chris Featherstone: "I do think he'll be a babyface again. It's kind of like Cena. Even though people boo Cena or do the Angle chant when Angle would come out, you knew and fans still respected those guys because they were professional and they performed every night on that level. So I think Reigns is going to have the same thing happen to him too. He is doing what he's doing right now. So all those things are going to add up to a culmination of his career, and eventually there is going to be a change and another babyface run or another babyface explosion. But don't do it until it's absolutely necessary, because Paul Heyman is, man, between him and Cornette, they both two of the greatest promos ever in professional wrestling. And Reigns ain't too bad either, as long as he gets to be himself. Yeah, I certainly think there is another babyface run for Roman Reigns." Cody Rhodes has become known for his promos in AEW, with him blurring the line between TV and reality. Speaking to GameSpot's Wrestle Buddies podcast, he touched on the preparation that goes into getting on the mic. This is probably gonna sound not cool, because a lot of wrestlers, especially wrestlers from my dad's era, will lie to you and say, "Oh, I just came up with that promo right there on the spot," which is BS. But whatever, I workshop my promos heavily for weeks on end. We have a full focus group for them, as crazy as that sounds. This is a data-based company, so I workshop everything I do, and because my promos have been held to a really high standard, people pick at them and find things in them, and they put a microscope on them, which I love. With that in mind, when I was doing the promo, I couldn't come up with a finish. For now, Rhodes is set to take on Anthony Ogogo at the upcoming AEW pay-per-view Double or Nothing. With WWE going through a period of releasing talent in the name of budget cuts, this has some thinking they could be looking to sell the company. As Meltzer said, there's going to be people with more work, but they wanted to cut the headcount down because they're trying to increase their profitability, and if they're trying to set the thing up for a sale, that's a good thing to do. Even if the goal is not to sell the company, WWE could simply be trying to cut loose ends and be as profitable as possible. With Adnan Virk originally taking the Raw play-by-play commentary position and it now being held by Jimmy Smith, WWE has reportedly released Tom Phillips. As Fightful wrote, while not announced officially that Tom Phillips has been let go, he's the latest in a string of releases affecting backstage personnel and even WWE studios. We've reached out to WWE for confirmation but have yet to hear back. We aren't sure of the specific arrangement in place for his departure from WWE. Phillips had been with the company since 2012, becoming the lead announcer for SmackDown and eventually Raw. With his release, we'll have to see where Phillips ends up. And this is your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.